Hey, everybody, welcome to 2218's Attitude for Gratitude, where we break the chains of addiction here. I'm Tad Ackerman, and this is
Timmy J. That was beautiful.
Hey, Tim, you want to cut a promo?
2218 is the place that saves my life, and it's here to save yours, too. It's where we do this podcast from. It's a place I get my recovery from. It's where anyone can come down and volunteer their time. If you're able to come down and volunteer some time, do that. If you're able to financially help this place, please do. Follow the links that young Matthew put on the site. Please donate if you're able to. Financially, this place could use some help. Also, like I was saying, if you've got community service hours or you just want to be part of this place that is breaking the chains of addiction, come on down. It's open. The door. There's tons of meetings all day long. From narcotic, just all different fellowships here, and it's open to whoever wants to come. So come make this your club. Come make this part of your recovery. It's a great place.
So, with that being said, you know, like Tim said, we always need volunteers. Any help is good help. This is the longest continuous running Al-Anon society in the world, and check us out on the interweb. The link is right down there. If you want to share this show with anybody, if they're going to like it, if you think they can use it, your mom, your friend, a brother, share this show. We're here to help. If you have any guests or people who have talents like graphic design, or maybe they want to do the music or something like that, get a hold of me or Timmy. My info's down there. We have a great show today. Tim and Elena are going to be hosting. I will be signing off after the intro, and we got our buddy Ryan, who's always in the comments, and a really good friend of mine, Jeff, and it's going to be an excellent show. So before we get into Elena's segment in the show, Tim, how's your week going?
My week's going good. I want to tell you about a vision of the Al-Anon Society of Minneapolis.
Okay.
It's to be the premier Al-Anon clubhouse serving the greater Twin Cities. It offers support and strength to those who suffer from addiction and their families. My week, Tad, it's been a great week. Details, not much to be said. I started a new job on Monday that I shared with you guys about a few weeks ago. Carries a lot of responsibilities. It's a vertical leap from my last position, and it's just a lot of responsibilities, but...
That's what you mean by vertical.
Vertical.
Like it's more,
I was going to say financially, yes, it's almost double what I made, but... It comes with responsibilities, so it's a great opportunity.
With great paychecks come great responsibilities.
Yeah, it's almost like superhero shit. It really is. I mean, minus the whole. I do have some serious responsibilities. Like, I'm in control of like 200 residences. If there's any issues that pop up, I'm the one that takes care of it.
Oh, this is the one you were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
It
yeah.
ended up panning out. And let me just tell you, the job, awesome. You know what? It's an opportunity. It's another stepping stone in life. Potential career, what have you. But it's about, I can circle it back to recovery. I had to leave a previous employer's spot because of whatever. There was money owed. There was issues. It wasn't working out. So... shook hands and parted ways. Didn't make a stink, chalked it up, money lost. Have it, call it, done. We don't have to live the way we used to. Sure, I wanted to flatten every vehicle's tire in the lot and made sure they could never perform work again. But I know better.
Live that way anymore.
No, I don't. Sure, those are, and I shared with this at the goals group, like that was the first thought that went through my head when I heard them validate my fears that I'm not supposed to live in. And my fears came true and what have you. So I had to walk away. The next day, I was talking to one of the guys from my goals group from recovery. And I was just telling him, like, yeah, dude, this is what happened. I had to walk away. My hands were shaking. I wanted to do all these things that I'm used to doing in response to this information that validated, like, yeah, I was getting bent over and they were never going to pay me. Let's see how long we can keep bending Tim over and not paying him. Like, they said this out loud, not knowing I was in an earshot of this, the people that owed me the money. And they were just stringing me along. Whatever. You can tell I'm still working on getting over that. But I was telling them about it. I'm like, yeah, so is what it is. Might take a month off. I don't know. Just figure out what's next. He's like, what is it you do again? So I told him, I'm like, yeah, home improvements. I've been working, doing that for 20 plus years. I know what's going on with the tool belt, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, okay. Called me back like an hour later. It's someone I'm in daily contact with through my goals group with like 13, 14 guys in it. Every day we set a goal and we post it on there. We hold each other accountable. He's like, give this guy a call. He might have some work. It was like that. That's how this happened. An hour and a half phone call later, two-hour interviews later, I started this job on Monday, and it's like I said, it's a leap up financially, responsibility, career-wise, this, that, and the third. But it's because of recovery. Not because I'm clean, not because I go to AA, NA, CMA, RA, PCA, WG, WF, whatever. It's because I stayed in communication with people in recovery. It's because I follow through. I reached out when I'm struggling. I talked to other people in this program. I wasn't looking for work. He was just like, hey, he's a headhunter. I didn't put two and two together until he's sitting there kind of like, hey, what is it you do again? Like, he was asking me questions that just your regular friend's not going to ask. Regular friends are going to be like, oh, that sucks. Like, you didn't really go flatten everyone's tires? Oh, you didn't fuck no one up? Like, it kind of clicked. But yeah, so this is all from just basically practicing what we preach. Like, stay, connections and reaching out, like, pause, don't, keep it simple, all that stuff. So my week's been going good. Tad, how's your week been going?
Pretty good, I got to break a friend of mine's necklace today, reenacting a situation in the past. That's definitely in my top 5.
I think we segmented in perfectly. You chain breaking
So,
SOB.
Before the show, me and Tim were roughhousing around, and I grabbed him by the shirt and snapped his chain by accident. So that was
Roughhousing? You're telling a story.
Well, apparently Tim didn't know we were roughhousing. I did. But, that's how it goes with brothers.
Yes.
So, I mean, life's good. I can't complain. Been doing a lot of recovery stuff. I don't know. After we're done with this, I'm going to listen to Elena's segment, and I'm going to head home with the girlfriend and relax.
Yeah.
So,
Well-deserved relaxation.
So, I won't be here for tonight's show. It'll be Tim and Elena, and Matt will be on the keyboard, and
Jeff and
Ryan and Jeff.
Ryan, and maybe some surprise guests, because I reached out to quite a few different people.
Yeah, maybe you'll have surprise guests. You got enough people here to do a good show. We've been trying to weasel Jeff on here for a while.
Yeah, we have.
And
we have.
Ryan knew full well that there was a risk if he comes here that he could be a guest. So,
Well, you want to hear something about ego real quick? Because one of the people I reached out to right before the show, I'm like, hey, man, we might only have one person. You think you can come down? He's like, oh, shit. You know what? You guys might have to start a little late. I can't get there till like 20 after. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you won't be able to start on time. I'm like, dude, I don't need you here to start this show.
Right.
Like, bro, you can show up in the last 10 minutes. I can talk for an hour and 50. We might only have 2 listeners by the time that happens, but like his ego and my ego were both, it was pretty funny conversation.
Obviously, he's never met any of the 3 of us, that being Tim, Ted, or Elena.
Wait, what are you trying to say?
Oh, I'm just trying to say that we're stars.
We can keep a conversation going whether there's another party listening or involved.
Oh, I thought you were saying I have a big mouth.
Well, that too, but
I didn't say that.
no,
Someone
I
just said that.
Yeah,
though.
she did. And
Elena.
a very big heart too, Elena.
Oh yeah,
See?
Elena, how's your week going?
My week's going great.
Prove it.
My week is going great. I worked like crazy because that's what I do. I'm still in the purge mode. I talked about purging last week. I'm still purging my house and getting rid of stuff. But unfortunately, I am an addict. So as I purge, I did go shopping and buy a few things.
Oh my goodness. Oh no, I got rid of 3 couches
One
and I
thing
bought
out,
4.
3 in, or what?
I did no, so like
Move
I'm
2 things
I'm
out, bring 3
redecorating
in.
my house because now that it's just me and my daughter that's gonna hopefully leave soon, I'm making it more of my own. So
You know
like,
you don't want her leaving.
well, she's probably gonna leave.
Sorry, but yeah. So yeah, what'd you do?
So I bought this awesome new bookshelf for my room, and I asked her to help me put it together, and she wouldn't help me put it together. So of course, you know me, I love putting stuff together, but I wasn't paying attention and flipping hit my thumb with the hammer and started cussing. And
Good thing you have another thumb, huh?
good thing I have another thumb. Good thing my fake nails flipping protected my thumb because. So,
Is
yeah,
it working?
It's so yeah. I'm purging my house, but unfortunately, you can only put so much stuff in your garbage can. So I'm gonna have to get a dumpster, I think, because I literally.
Oh, it's that serious.
I really do want to purge my house. Like, there's so much stuff in my house that I don't need.
What
So-
about one of those pop-up dumpsters?
So I'm thinking about getting a dumpster this spring and just I want to throw away half my house.
What about you can get those pop-up dumpsters?
So
They,
I
like,
moved
come
into
in a
my
bag
house.
and-
I moved into my house 7 years ago, and I still have stuff in boxes in some of my closets. If there's still stuff in boxes that I haven't touched in 7 years, why do I even need to open them to see what is in there?
It
Why?
might be like your Girl Scout uniform or something.
Girl Scouts?
I don't know.
What?
Your Catholic school outfit. I don't know. Whatever.
Catholic school? What?
Whatever. It might be some precious childhood memory that you
No,
need.
it's my memories are in my mind,
And you need to make sure there's no Batmobile related stuff or comic stuff
and
that
I'm
you're throwing
still
away.
and I still have it floating in my brain that I would love to live somewhere warmer. And as I slowly purge my house,
Oh,
So I'm
premeditated
still-
moving. That's what you're doing.
I'm preparing. I'm slowly preparing. But yeah, no, my week has been great. Of course, I can honestly say that I have not gone to any meetings this week. But
Hell yeah.
I have talked to so many people in recovery this week that it makes up for not being at a meeting.
I almost called you twice.
You almost did?
Yeah.
Oh.
I got
well,
distracted because I suck.
Usually, yeah, you should call because I always answer my phone.
Oh, you do?
And if I
Except for
don't
when I
answer
call
my
you at
phone,
work.
no, I will. I will walk. If I'm at work and someone calls me, I will walk away and find out if it's very, very important. And if it's, and it's always important, but if it's not like dire needs, you are not on the verge of a relapse or something like that, then I will have to call you back.
Well, because I like to call instead of text. Because text,
Yes.
yeah, and we all know this. Everyone who knows me, so like,
Yes.
So we owe Tad $1,100 for 11 messages.
oh yeah.
Before he woke up.
I told Tim every time he texts before I wake up, and then I woke up to that.
Well, you know what? The fact that you don't get up until 2:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, whoa! That's not true. I'm up by 11 every day at the
Fine.
very
But you
latest.
know what? I'm a 40-year-old woman that gets up at 5 in the morning because I could go to work.
Right.
So when I get up, I start texting.
So
I work till 4 in the morning.
you know what? I want to.
When I get home, I'll text you tomorrow night, or I'll call you. Matter of fact.
Yeah. See, there's a flip side to this, Elena. Like he could start
People used
blowing
to-
us up and
Right.
texting-
People used to
yeah.
say that to me when they'd wake me up in the sober house, and I was like, "Hey, how about during my morning or when I get home from
Right.
work, I'll fucking do it to you." And
Look
they
at,
don't
look
like
at the
it.
animation. He gets worked up. I love it.
They don't like it when
You
it's
can
flipped.
call me in the middle of the night. I have this thing.
Oh, you
where
can text me.
turn
I
my
don't get.
ringer off now
I don't get text.
because I wake up 3 times.
But see,
during the
he
middle of
also
the
has a
night.
different responsibility that doesn't allow him to turn off his ringer.
Yeah.
See, he's got that deal with the recovery living, the sober houses.
Someone could call me for an emergency,
Yeah.
so I don't turn off my ringer.
That is called responsibilities, folks. So real quick, I gotta cockblock this whole conversation because I need to apologize to the audience. Anyone who's had issues with any of the links we are sending you, we're sorry about that. We're still trying to figure it
All
out.
the links that I sent did that,
I've
too.
had 15 people respond back to me, and I tried to open it, and we need to figure this out for the
Matt,
simple.
you got to call Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, because I tried to open what I sent to Dustin, and the response was, it's frustrating. Sorry, guys. But I got a response from me trying to open it, and the response I got says, "Hello, can we help you with something?" Like it's
Yeah.
some type of service, but it has our logo next to it. So I'm real sorry. Anyone who's trying to share this with someone else, I guess the best way to do that is maybe just hit them up and walk them through it, or just hit follow when you do find this, like, because then every week it'll pop up for you. I just shared it to my Facebook wall. I didn't ever think to do that, but I'm sorry. You can hear my frustration with
Hey.
it. This is bogus.
Is it that time?
It's one more thing we need to tell our audience is if there's someone you know who could use a little recovery in their life, there's anyone you
Did
can
it
think
already
of.
while you were in the hallway?
Oh, about sharing?
About sharing, about smashing the like button. Oh yeah, I got all the when you just unceremoniously
That's a
left me and I didn't
beast.
know what to say. I just did all that.
Dad's a beast. All right,
Hey.
go with it.
What time is it? Look at the clock. Oh, it's time
Dun, 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 dun,
for
dun, ba-da, ba,
self
ba, da,
love
da, da,
with the amazing,
ba, ba,
the
ba,
compassionate,
boom.
the beautifully gorgeous
Do,
Elena.
do, 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 Elena. Yeah. Woo.
I don't know how we keep changing this every single week, but we do.
We'll find that niche.
All right, so I'm going to talk about something a little bit different this week. It is going to be a little bit of self-love, but it's going to be a little bit of something else too. It's going to be a little bit of tough love for some people that I've been talking to this week. And also for myself, because I am guilty of this. I am 100% guilty of this. So I've been talking to a lot of people, and this has to do with either in relationships or in friendships or anything like that. If people want to leave your life and people want to walk away from your life, you need to let them. You need to let them walk away. Because it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. They are what the issue is. It's not you. Because if it was you, there would be communication. And if they cannot communicate with you, if they cannot tell you what is going on, then why do you want to keep that around? Why do you want to let that be filled in your space? Why do you want to put more time and effort into fighting to be in somebody's life if they aren't willing to put that same amount of time and effort in? You are hurting yourself. You are hurting who you are and who you are trying to become. Another thing is, do you really want to fight for that person's acceptance? Do you really want to be, what's the issue? Are you afraid of rejection? Is it really rejection or is it a gift? Is that person really meant to be in your life? I have had so many friends in recovery and so many between friends and relationships, and I've talked about my relationships on this show. And it's boiled down to I've had to dig deep down and find what was the real reason. What was the reason why it hurt me? And is it something that I was going to let it sit and dwell and wreck what I was trying to become in life? Because I've come way too far in life to do anything that's going to mess with my recovery, with what I'm building, with my career, with anything. And the amazing friends that I have. And it's because of these friends that in this room that I have what I have, honestly. It really is. So I want to tell, don't chase people. Because you don't need to chase people. It hurts you more than it hurts them. If they wanted to be chased, if they wanted you to chase them, come on. There's no point in chasing people. There's none. So when you chase people, you're settling. And we don't settle. There's no reason to settle. There's none at all. So I just want to remind people, this is life. Don't play games. If you want to play a game, you can come over to my house and we'll play Monopoly. I also have a PlayStation. And I have Monopoly on PlayStation.
5 or 4?
So
PlayStation 5 or
I'm
4?
flipping no.
So it's PlayStation 3.
No, it's a 4. It's a 4. I have a 3 too. It's an old one, but I only kept it around because I like playing Harry Potter. Don't judge me.
Someone just
So-
told me about
Quidditch?
So just don't. I'm serious. I want everybody to know that don't play games in your life. We don't need that anymore. We're adults. We're growing up. Stop it.
It's your mood music.
It's your
And
mood music.
we have to remember that not everyone in this world is meant to be in our life.
Nice.
We have to remember that. We have to remember that everyone in this world is not meant to be in our life. there are so many people in this life that we're living, so many people in recovery, and I've talked about this before and I'll say it again. When I came into recovery, I had so many friends because I thought that I needed to have all these friends around me at all times. I didn't need to have them around me. I wanted them around me. I am so comfortable with myself now that I'm okay with sitting in a room by myself. I'm okay with being able to walk into a meeting without one of my friends holding my hand because I'm afraid that that I'm not gonna know anybody. I know every person in that room, even if I don't know their name, because they have an addict in them. They are somebody that I know. So it doesn't matter to me anymore. That's why I go to meetings down in Rochester. That's why I go to meetings up in Duluth. I love meeting new people. So I'm just going to end it with this. If you have somebody that walks out of your life, if you have somebody that doesn't want to be in your life, whether it be a friend or a relationship or anything like that, thank them and move on.
Nice.
Because they don't need to be part of your life, and do not continue to chase them. And if they come back, don't continue to chase them if it happens again. So that's all I got for you, loves.
That was Self-Love with Elena.
Oh my God.
I needed to hear that though. Good job, Elena. That was really well prepared.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
oh, I thought about this I've been talking to people all week. And that's the
I
thing.
wrote a note.
When you talk to people in
It says,
recovery,
this is what prepared sounds like. That was excellent.
when you talk to people in recovery all week long, and for some reason, and I'm not going to name any names, but when it comes to where you talk to one person, and then all of a sudden you talk to another person, and then all of a sudden you're talking to like 3 more people, and it's all about around the same thing, and you're like, what the hell is going on? So you have to say something. And I don't mean to sound like and I'm going to swear right now, people. I don't mean to sound like a bitch sometimes, but sometimes you do need a little bit of tough love. And I'm the kind of person that's going to give it to you.
Or needs it sometimes.
Because I've been there. And I got this from my sponsor. I got this from friends in recovery.
Yeah.
And if I didn't get it like this, I wouldn't be where I am. We need this. We need to have somebody put their foot down in front of us and tell us how it's going to be.
You're speaking from experience. You're speaking from what you've been through. You know this.
Yeah. And it sucks that I've been through this. It absolutely sucks. But one of the most amazing things is that I'm going to keep growing, and I'm going to keep doing, and I'm going to keep helping people because of all the things that I've learned.
And it's for your growth, and you've done it. Good job.
Yes.
It was a great segment, Elena. So now, time to move this show right along. Tonight on our pod, first I want to say to my faithful partner here and my, you know what? Could you do a quick final thoughts? You got time for that?
Yeah.
Premature final thoughts with Tad.
Is this second thoughts because it came after Self-Love with Elena?
Yeah, I know it's a lot of just us right now, but then it's going to be our guests.
Yeah, we're gonna get to our great guests. Look, man. So this is final thoughts with Tad, and it's not at the end, so that's weird. But all I'm gonna say, it's gonna be quick, is you are who you surround yourself with. So I'm kind of tagging along my own thing on top of Elena's self-care, because that was one of the best segments we've ever run as a group. So congrats, Elena. Really impressed. But so you are who you hang around with. So if you want to be impeccable and you're hanging around with a bunch of people that are just liars, you're going to become a liar. If you want to be honest and you're hanging out with liars, you're probably going to become a liar. So they say to hang out with the winners, and I know that's a cliche, but really, hang out. Like my first couple years, I hung around with people who I wanted to be like, guys with 10 and 20 years sobriety. And then eventually, like I've talked about, I found my people. And I was able to grow, and I still am growing into the person I wanted to be. And people who didn't match that mold would get out. And yeah, I have friends that are normies or whatever. And, I work in the bar industry, but I'm myself now. So if people aren't themselves and they're not good people, despite whether they're in recovery or not, they don't last around me. So just remember to always surround yourself with good people. And sometimes that means, like Elena talked about, you have to love people from a distance because you got to take care of number one. That's you. If you don't do it, no one else is going to do it. So, hey, man, I love all of you guys. You guys have a great show. You guys have a great weekend, and let's chop it up.
Top it up. So tonight, what we've got in store for you are two gentlemen in recovery. They've been in recovery for 5 years successfully so far, and my man Ryan has about 3 years continuous recovery. Gentlemen, would you like to introduce yourself?
No?
Right now, get on that mic. Get as close as you are comfortably up on that mic.
And tell me your sobriety date when you do that, please.
My name is Jeff. Sobriety date is October 4th of 2017.
17. All right, the fella to your right, would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Ryan. My sober date is 6/20/2019.
You know what? We've never done that. We've never had people introduce themselves and then their clean time. That's awesome. I love it. So, what'd you prepare for tonight's show?
Well, I didn't prepare nothing, but
I threw him right on the spot.
all
Yeah.
right. She prepared it. She prepared it for me because it's a subject that I struggle with and been thinking about, and it predates a recovery time. Mm-hmm. You know, I got people in my life, in work, in recovery, that want to hang out, want to be friends, and for whatever reason, you know, I mean, I push them away, and I'm always pursuing these people that aren't trying to hang out with me or aren't trying to be my friends, and
In life or recovery, both?
both. I
Yeah.
mean, this predated, you know, I mean, this goes back to when I was actively in addiction, and it's carried over into my sobriety as well. And it's weird, on the inside, I'm an extrovert. I want to be social. I want to be friends with everybody. I want to walk up, shake hands, hugs, hang out with everybody. But in reality, I'm an introvert. I mean, life has taught me it's safer to hang out on the sidelines, in the background, not.
Well, we had that conversation. I did
no.
cut you off, but I want you to enlighten the audience about if you're okay with it. The other day, I pulled up on Sunday before our NA meeting, and I was peeling your ear back about, I don't know, something about the show, I think. And you're like, help, I think I'm ready to do the show. And then what were you telling me about sharing?
Oh, that, well, it happens to me in the meetings, you know. Back when I was in addiction, I was able to run game on anybody, bullshit anybody. And I could talk to whoever, say whatever, do whatever, and convince people of whatever.
And not be worried about it or
Not be
sweaty
worried,
or
not
all.
sweating,
Yeah, yeah.
nervous, whatever. But what I realized was I was playing a role, and I was playing it well. I wasn't being myself. And as now that I've got some sobriety under my belt, almost 5 years, I'm still learning who I am.
Right.
I know I got a pretty good idea of who I'm not, but I'm still learning who I am. And I'm still growing into the man that I'm becoming.
Right.
At 42 years of age. You
Yeah,
know?
right there with
But,
you.
I know that for me to try and speak honest and be, what's the word?
Integrity, what? I mean,
Just putting myself out vulnerable.
yum.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Being
yeah.
honest and vulnerable with people, I get nervous because now this is the real me, and if they reject this person, that's gonna hurt you. I mean, and it's just something I got to deal with.
So, like, before you would share, like, what was in let's just say, let's use Narcotics Anonymous. When you'd be at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting and, you know, people are going around and you're like, I want to share about something, what would happen?
If I wanted to share, about
Yeah,
something,
like prior to a week ago, how was it for you when you would want to share during a meeting, or what was
well-
the stress level, anxiety, or what was going on with you?
I mean, I'd have all kinds of stuff that I want to share. I mean, because I got over 25 years of active addiction, but either I got this inner dialogue that goes on that tells me that what I have to say people don't want to hear, or it ain't gonna help anybody, or I'm not worthy of, these people's time. And I also got this other side that tells me that, fuck these people. I don't care who they are, or why do I want to, share what I got with them? Who are they to me? I go back and forth, and then if I do get up the courage to share, I spend so much time thinking about how to try and say it, and I want to come across intelligent and this and that, whatnot, rather than speaking from the heart. Then when I finally do start to speak, I got these people looking at me. I start sweating. I start slurring my words. I'll start stuttering. All this other stuff. And I can feel the sweat dripping off my
Right.
head, and then my mind goes blank. And
So don't look at him.
I was just gonna. When he was done, I was gonna say like I close my eyes while sharing sometimes. Like I want you to explain. Keep going through your process because a lot of people. You're not the only one who deals with this at all.
In order for me to share, I feel bad too because I've had some real good success in my sobriety, and I want to be enthusiastic about it because I want people to see that it is possible and that life is better and that it's not all struggle,
Right.
pain, and misery. Sobriety is great. But when I go to share and I'm uncomfortable and I'm sweating, I kind of pick a corner of the room and I stare off. And I go out, it's almost like I step out of my body and I go into this monotone dialogue. And, I don't know, it's weird. I want to be able to reach and help people. I want all that time that I spent isolated and miserable in my addiction, wasting my life. It will be a complete waste if I can't find a way to share and teach and help people. My experience.
Do you see it as giving back when you're sharing, or just helping yourself to get whatever's off your chest off your chest?
I don't see it. I do, but I don't. That's it. Because I have people come up to me all the time after the meeting and be like, "Oh, I really enjoyed what you said, or I can relate this or that," and I'm like, what?
You just had Danielle S says Jeff always has good things to say when we're at meetings. Like that's so I don't know who that is.
I know who that is.
Yes, I probably do, and I'm sorry for saying
She's
that.
awesome.
Yes. And anyone. Side note: anyone who has questions for Jeff or Ryan, myself or Elena, please post them. If you have any topics you want us to talk about, please post them. Make this your show. So, like the reason I was so adamant about you, I know I kind of curved that what you started sharing about what Elena said. I curved it into the interaction we had in the parking lot because you said something that it like intrigued my thoughts. Like you have a fear. That was a fear of sharing. Like you had this fear, and the way you decided to get over it. A lot of addicts I've met, including myself, it's not how we do it head on. Like
So I'll explain what we talked about there.
Yes.
Like I was saying, I want to be able to help a lot of people and share my story and help people, whatever. But every time I go to speak, I fall apart and nothing comes out right. I don't get any of the things that I wanted to say out, and it's really frustrating. So the other night I tried to share, and it happened again, and I went home and I thought about it. And try to figure out, why does this happen? How am I, and I just decided that, well, from now on at every meeting, I'm gonna share whether I got something to say on topic or not, or whatever. Just try and get
like
over
to
it.
get over that.
Just to get over the fear and just to get used to it, because I'm not a guy that lives in fear,
And a side note is, I've now known, I don't know, since you got involved with Phoenix, 3, 4 months, 5 months, I'm not sure, but I never knew that about you. Like I've heard you share. I didn't know you were going through that struggle you're going through. The few times you did share, I didn't fucking know. I never knew that. That's why it blew my wig back when you were like, yeah, I think I'm ready for the show. I'm like, well, okay, good. Then you started telling me about sharing. And then what he did, not to break your anonymity of a share, but you came in here and basically shared what you just did. You got that shit off your chest. You told the whole meeting basically like, look, I'm scared to share. Not that I'm scared to share, but all these things, and Ryan was over here shaking his head when you were talking about, like, yeah, dude, you're not alone. A lot of people, like, speak on it, Ryan.
So, basically, I've never talked in a room, ever. Never shared nothing. I don't want to, call out Elena, but you kind of call me out.
There you go. Get on that mic.
I did. I will
need it.
admit it.
I've been making a lot of dumb decisions doing it all myself for the past 3 years. And I don't know whether it's like finally the maturity or I'm just starting to get it, but like I'm giving in this week. And my main reason was coming here was for a totally different reason. I still want to do that. And I'll do that at the end. But like I don't even know this guy, Jeff. And I literally feel connected to him more than anything because I am that person that sits in a meeting, doesn't talk, doesn't share, goes through it, the anxiety and all that. And literally every time I like open my mind a little bit, everything that everyone speaks is exactly what I'm going through, and it's like exactly what I needed. And it's funny that you talk about the share thing because actually at Will Work tonight, my number came up, and it's a call out.
What do you mean? Yeah, all right, go ahead.
And I just said, screw it. But there was some other guy that talked, so like I'm not really mad. This guy was talking about his suicide and that, like he wanted to commit suicide. So I'm a huge believer of everything happens for a reason. My buddy's there. I've never been with one of my best friends in my recovery life. I've never been to a meeting with him, never seen him in a meeting. It's always been like behind the scenes. Well, I met him there. And like he was kind of pushing me to talk, and then I just let this dude talk, and then it was like one thing led to another. And that's why I've kind of made this decision that like I came here to ask Tad or Tim to be my sponsor.
Oh.
I don't sit here and ask, and it's like, why not do it on the biggest broadcast that like I know of? Like, yeah, I'm not very good at doing it, and like Jeff just said, like you gotta kind of just get uncomfortable. This is the most uncomfortable I've been in my life. I'm nervous. I'm sweating.
See, now, I'm cutting you off real quick because what I'm going to say to you, and I know sometimes when we're at this moment, like you're clear-headed. This is the difference. When we're out there getting all sideways, twisted up, running and gunning, like you're telling me this is the scariest you've been in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I think about the reason we're sitting in these rooms half the time. Like, usually people don't come into these rooms on a winning streak. Like the reason most people are in recovery is because they found what a bottom really looks like. Meaning we've been through some grimy shit. And I don't know your story. I don't know Jeff's story. And I really don't know Lana's or Matt's. I know my story. I know the shit I did.
Oh, you should come listen to the story.
We'll share about when you're doing that. I think about it and I can't imagine. I've learned in recovery, like I'm not that unique. The details are a little different, but I started doing things I never imagined I'd be doing. Ended up getting to a place I never wanted to be at, and I found recovery. The details usually change for everybody. Someone died, this happened, jail, blah, blah, blah. But the things that I did, I put myself in positions where I could have been murdered. I could have ended up in prison for the rest of my life. Probably should have. And I don't imagine you're too much further than that. You put yourself in positions like that, correct?
Yep.
And this is what you're scared of.
Yep. And I've never gotten out of. That's where, when I put in the comments at first, that I've never gotten out of my own way. I've never not saying I haven't had my own thoughts, but I've never sat there and listened and done anything that everyone said in the rooms. And it's like over the past 3 years of a really, really lustful relationship, I thought it was love. And the thing I've learned is that this past 3 years has taught me that there's so many barriers and stuff keeping me sober, but at the same time I was going through so much stuff with my ex that I was able to do all this stuff and go through these emotions sober, and I was stuck doing it sober, and there's nothing I could do about it. And it's like I needed that from not just people around me, but the authority, the probation in that.
Right.
I needed someone to
Another entity.
and that's where I'm getting I can't not reach out. I can't sit there and do it all myself. Every single time I've come to that, it's been a relapse, and I haven't relapsed. The last time is the last time. I've never relapsed again. But the emotional relapse, I've been going through it for 6 months. And if you don't reach out, you will use. And I'm telling you right now, last week I almost used.
What does that say right there to your left? Number 2? Just read it. Just read it.
This is where someone else is going to start. But came to believe that a power greater than ourselves help us.
Could really, yeah. All right. So, you're talking about finding a sponsor, and now you're God, this is taking such turns to what we're talking about, the topics. But yeah, some people can do it themselves. I preach this as high from the mountaintop as I can. I realize There's so many different ways to the finish line. I'm not here to tell you you have to do it this way. You don't have to do it my way. Ken R came on our show and was real clear about this. You've got to go out and have your own experience. I can't do your recovery. You can't do my recovery. There's a basic set of steps that were put in front of us, and someone took me through them, and I'm supposed to take someone else through them, and that person will take someone like. But what you get out of it, or how it works for you, whether it is these steps, whether it's church, whether it's just abstinence, or whether it's prison, whatever it is, everyone's finish line looks a little different. And I'm not here to tell you it has to be a specific way. But when you're actively sharing about, I see I'm in a relapse, when I'm seeing this happening, and like you already know there's some other things that need to happen here. So you coming on here to say you're looking for a sponsor, you're going to reach out for it. Sure, that's awesome. That's where you start. Sharing, I want to keep on that. Go ahead, Elena.
So you and I have talked a lot since this situation happened because I reach out to everyone. I don't care what the situation is because, and I've talked about this on the show, because it's boundaries. We all have boundaries, and I can talk to men, women, I don't care, anything. That's just the way I am in my recovery. To me, this is a success story. The fact that you can make it through this and not go out and relapse, because I went through the same thing 6.5 years ago, and I wasn't that success story. I threw away 13 years of recovery because I wasn't going to meetings, and I didn't have the support system, and I didn't have any of that. So I went back out and I started drinking, and I was never a drinker. So I went from being a full-blown recovering meth addict to, they say that when you relapse that you start over where you stopped. I went from that meth addict to a full-blown drinker overnight because I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the solutions, I didn't have the people by my side. You have all of that. You're doing what you need to do. And it took me so much to get back in, and it took me so long to finally figure it out. But when I came into these rooms, no matter how many times I relapsed in that first year, my friends in these rooms that I consider family now were always there to help me. Always there to help me, and are still there. 3 years later, I'm still sober, and I'm still rocking this amazing life because now I have these tools, and I will not let something bother me like that again. I find a way. Yes, there are some things that bother me, Tim. We just had this conversation before the show. There are some things that bother me, but I have to find a way to work my way through them.
Right.
And I have those tools now, and you have those tools by reaching out to people.
Well, yes, that's what he's doing. Like,
Yes.
and that, you know what, commend to you. Like, that's awesome. You talk about, this could be the steps to a relapse, and you're doing something about it. People that are reaching out on here, like, lots, you know what, good, Jeff, good shit so far, what you're talking about with the sharing. Like, that's huge to get over a fear of sharing. Some people on here are saying things of the nature, like, you know, when they leave a meeting and they didn't share when they thought they needed to, it's like they left the meeting feeling heavier than they did, you know, without sharing. Since you started that, Jeff, since you've made sure you're sharing and not letting your fears hold you back, what is that? Has that made a difference?
Well, you know, like I said, that night that I went home and started to think about it and examine it, and I also did, you know what I mean, I prayed about it. I mean, for God, I mean, God is my higher power.
There you go.
For him to, you know, give me the strength to help do his work and to bring people, you know what I mean, victory through whatever my message is that contains for them, you know. Shortly after that, somebody came and asked me if I was ready to do the podcast again. And then somebody came and asked me if I'd do the speaker meeting thing. And, you know, I mean, I guess
All these
basically,
things are starting to happen
yeah,
since
know,
you did that?
Careful what you pray for. I mean, God doesn't give me, you know, if I ask him for something, he doesn't just magically give me whatever I ask for. He gives me opportunities to develop them skills or whatever it be, you know. So, I mean, speaking about it helps. I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here eventually, because every time I share now, I explain that I don't really have much to say.
That,
But
you know,
I got, you know, I mean, I'm trying to get over this fear.
yeah,
and,
it's a process, dude.
yeah.
It's a process. I think it circles back to what both you two were saying, like, how, like, we're kind of talking about fear. Like, that's ultimately what we're talking about here is fear. You're bobbing your head, like, you're sharing, like, yeah, it comes down to fear. Like, I don't know if it's, one guy told me, he's like, don't worry about the reasoning. Don't worry about the why. Who cares why? Just make the change and go do it. Because I'm over here as a podcast host trying to pull that out of you. Well, why were you, what is the fear? Like, are you scared of people pointing? Are you scared of them laughing? Are you scared of you not saying the right thing? Are you scared you're going to hurt someone? Like, where's the why in this? But
Well, for me, I mean, all the above, what you just said, but I also had to examine my motives. I mean, I would come here and, you know, outside of work, I don't really have, you know what I mean, because after getting out of prison, I let go of everybody I knew from the past. So basically starting over. I mean, I got a couple contacts, good friends that I did time with. But other than that, you know what I mean?
but those are road dogs. Like, you can count on them.
Right. Other than that, it's just the people that I work with that I have pretty much contact with throughout the week. So I started coming here for, you know, I mean, this is really the only social connection I have with other people outside of work. And I guess, to be honest, I wanted to make sure that what I said sounded intelligent or made me look good or whatever. I mean,
You were worried about what people were thinking.
people would think, yeah,
Okay.
rather than being honest and speaking from the heart and sharing the message that truly belongs to me. And, you know, yeah.
Does that still creep in your head? You think like you're worried? Because I'm always on here like you can't worry about what people think, but it's a line of shit. Because I'm still worried about what people think. My head, Rob said it over a year ago on this show. He's like, we're at war with our heads, and I called him. I'm like, bullshit. I'm not at war with my head. Like, no way. There's an instance right there. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I don't care what people think. That's bullshit. I do. Whether I actively act on that thought, I do. I mean, I don't want people thinking I'm stinky or thinking I'm saying some repetitive shit or thinking. I have to constantly remind myself not to worry about what people think. But it is a fear. Like, and I don't know how you get over it. I know there's certain people that just let it go. Like, you can tell I'm saying it kind of facetiously, but there are people who can legitimately just let it go and not worry about that. And I believe it becomes a lot more freeing than, and like you were just saying, so you started sharing, you went home, you prayed to your higher power about it, and all of a sudden, your plate's a lot fuller than it's been. You went to detox, you're sharing your story. I think someone even asked you to chair a very big, prominent Minneapolis meeting for the next 4 Saturdays too, that you're going to do, if you find it suitable for you. But Saturday Night Live, Saturday nights at the Basilica, 7:30, open speaker meeting. Everyone's invited. Elena's the trusted servant right now, and the next one will be probably Jeff. So,
Okay,
Like-
so let me throw something out there about
Yeah.
Shannon, since you're over there rambling. So
ooh, it's a dick punch.
we don't talk like that on air. So
I do.
So I just want to talk about sharing for a minute because I'm listening to all three of you talk about sharing here, and it's okay to. So I understand where everybody's coming from, and this is just my personal opinion when it comes to sharing, that it's okay not to share. And I'm gonna go on different ways here. So it's okay not to share, because sometimes it's great to just sit in a meeting and listen to people's wisdom, because I can tell you how many times I've gone to, and I'm going to throw it out there. My Saturday morning 10:10 meeting at Blaine that Ryan's going to come to.
Saturday morning. Tomorrow, you mean?
Tomorrow morning that Ryan's going to come to.
All right, I'll be there, I guess.
Is an amazing meeting. There's between 20 and 45 people, and it's amazing big book meeting. And
At the Blaine Alano.
At the Blaine Alano. And we sit there, and there's so much recovery in there, and you can sit there, and every week you hear something new. And you don't even have to talk, because the stuff that people say in there, it's kind of like listening to the speakers that you hear at Gopher State. It's amazing the amount of stuff that you hear in those meetings. Last week, someone that got 21 years was speaking, and she gives me goosebumps every time that she talks. Then there's times where I feel like I need to say something, but I don't. if that happens, I go up and I talk to somebody after the meeting to make sure that I don't leave a meeting feeling like I didn't say what I needed to say that day. Because if I go home feeling the same as I did when I walked into a meeting, then I need to stay and go to another meeting.
Would you think this is a good statement, Elena, that like the meeting after the meeting, or like we say it with Burning Desires, if you don't get a chance to share and you need to share, grab someone after the meeting?
Yes. And like Saturdays are my day. Like I go to a meeting and then I go to fellowship and then I do something else. Like that's like my recovery day. And now, of course, I'm doing this thing at the Basilica. Like there's
And this thing every
Thanks,
Friday
Tim.
night.
And so, but
You're welcome.
Everybody knows me. I love recovery. Like this is what if I could do recovery 24/7, I would. But I have to flip and work, so I gotta pay my bills. So it's okay to not share, but and yes, it is scary. It is so scary. But if you're sitting in a room with 10 people and you say something and you think that 8 people didn't like it, 2 of those people did. You reach 2 people.
Yeah, just like it's like this
doesn't
podcast.
matter.
If one person gets helped, I
Yeah.
successfully did what I set out to do. Ryan, talk to us about the meetings, the recovery you do today. Is it just listen to the podcast?
No.
What do you do?
Actually, I'm more kind of with the intellectual side, and I think too much. So I kind of use that to my advantage. And
What does that mean? Remember, you're way above us on this
Yeah,
intellectual
say that
thing.
again.
Dumb it down, bro.
No,
Say
I'm
that
not
again.
saying it like that. What I'm saying is I like to think on an intellectual level because if I think about God, I've had so much trauma in the church that I don't. The second I hear God, it hurts me and it stops me from everything. That's something else I got to deal with at a different time. But I need to do this to get through it. So the thing that helped me is when I went to another meeting, which was Garage Dogs. I don't know if it's still out
Yep.
there, but I went there. That thing was awesome. They often taught me that I can use God as anything, doorknob, whatever. But I don't like that whole, like, it's not something. It's got to be something to me. The thing that I got was God, group of drunks. And, like, not just drunks, but, like, anyone in the rooms. So, with Elena's sharing thing, I haven't been sharing with anybody other than people that are very, very, very close to me because I have a past. And there's things that, like, I have skeletons that scare the hell out of me. And I feel like if everyone knew about me, I would have to watch my back and know everything like that. But I have learned that not sharing has put me in a prison in my head that is inescapable.
Say that again.
The prison.
Not sharing has done what?
Oh, put me in a prison in my head. that
Okay.
I've never. Anyone that's been to RCCS knows MRT. Anyone that's done MRT in prison knows that the prison in your head is the worst place to be. So when they're talking about get out of your own head, yeah, it's get out of prison. Like,
Right.
you can be out here on the outside and not be free, and that's what I've basically been for 3 years. Not blaming an ex, not blaming any other person. This is what I've done to myself. And it's all been because I've done the old, I hate when people say it to me, you got this. Don't do that. Don't ever say that to yourself. That should be banned in every room around. Because the second you say you got this, everything falls apart.
For you and your personal experiences, you mean?
Yes, for me.
Yes.
That's every time I've
There
done
you
that,
go. Remember those I statement things?
Man, this last week, that's where, like, as you're saying that in my head when you guys are saying stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm listening to all your stuff. But then when I give advice, I'm like, I'm done listening. I'm talking.
You know what,
But
Leon?
that's
No,
not the time I need to stop and be like what Jeff was kind of saying, where I give some good advice. I need to listen to myself.
so there's a catch-22 for what like Tad and myself are doing in Atlanta right now. It's and I have to precede that with saying like Leon a couple Mondays ago at Grace Trinity, he was sharing about something, and it was like, if we're talking and I come to you to talk, and I might get this wrong a little bit, but he's like, if I'm talking for longer than 2 minutes, cut me off. I'm being selfish. There's nothing more I need to say that goes longer than 2 minutes. And Leon, I saw you were on here earlier. If you still are, just correct me in the chat if this isn't the correct thing I'm saying. But and I need to work on that. But like I said, it's catch-22. I'm on the podcast. I got to keep things going. Blah 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 blah. But I see what you're saying in my head. I don't. After hearing him share that, then I started getting my head later when I'm talking to people, because when I'm in a car ride with Elena and we're going somewhere and it's an hour long, we're gonna be talking, like.
Are we?
But I think the difference, what he's saying is like, if I come up to you to talk and I'm going on and on and on, there's some selfishness going on there. There's some, it's a more self than it is. What are my intentions or what motives? Like motives is huge. We had Matt on the show a while back talking about it's not going to hurt yourself to ask yourself, what are my motives before you speak, act, before you do anything? That's a good, valid question to ask yourself. What are my motives for sharing right now? What are my motives for responding to this text message or this person that I'm having problems with or this boss or this whatever the case is? So like those type of things, I believe are good questions to ask yourself. I don't know. I also believe with the fear topic, because I know we kind of moved on from it a little, but there's so many things in life, like living out of fear is not, it's so counterproductive for the life we're trying to live, or the life I'm trying to live. So for you, Ryan, you were saying about being so scared or in fear, or what is it that you're in fear of right now? You're saying you put yourself in what position that just being on the show, like what? Talk to us.
More or less, like, I've understood from a lot of people that we all have past and we all have things that like we have to worry about. And it kind of helped with, it's going to be stupid to say, but.
No, it's not. See, there's your fear.
It's, okay, well, this new girl I'm talking to, weeks after getting out of a like messy, drawn out bull thing, like, just being able, I don't know, to listen to people and not, I don't know, what I'm trying to get at is the parachute thing with the jumping out of a plane. So when I went to RCCS, they make you jump out of a plane.
Hit the ground running?
Dude, when I jumped out of the plane, I didn't realize going up that I'm the last one getting in the plane. So we're just joking everything, and then I finally realized once the doors open that I'm about to be the first one to jump out. I'm scared of heights, like I'm about to cry.
I'm not following. You mean literally going to an airplane and jumping out?
Yeah, this is real.
Oh, okay. I thought like this was some anagram or something for something in treatment.
For what everything I'm doing.
Okay, go ahead.
Why I'm like ready to make this jump into sponsorship and all that, because I'm not. I've always been the skeptical person. I am that skeptical person. If you are sitting out there listening, this works like 100%. I've been that person from day one for almost like 6-7 years now. It won't work. It won't work. None of this works, but it does. And the thing I was saying about the plane is when I jumped out, I had so much fear stepping to that edge, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But when I jumped, it was like, oh my God, I'm so happy I did this. It was the best thing ever. And right now there's a little bit of that because I'm like reaching out to people, so I'm getting a little better feels. But every time I've watched someone do that or watched someone in the rooms do that, all I see is goodness. And that's where I'm like, okay, it ain't working with when we go back to the sharing, me isolating, me not talking to people, me being scared of everyone. So it's like, I got to get over that fear and jump out of this plane in my head and get out of my own head and skydive to where everyone else is at in reality and like start reaching out and start talking to people, because I'm lucky to be alive today. Just the fact that we buried someone last year, like that shit's weird. I didn't even think about that until a couple days ago. Like, I've lost so many people over the last year, and I could have been one of them. And that's really, really deep when all I thought about was suicide for the past couple months. Not that I'm going to kill myself or anything, but like when I go into the rooms and I see people get their clean time or talk about shit, and I'm like, them are the stories that I miss. I watched a mom and son tonight. Like, it just happened to be the son was called first for the call-out meeting, and then the mom was called later. But it was like a moment there that I'm damn near crying. Like, this is powerful. This is what I need. And it's more that fear of not being scared, not being judged. I really don't know how to explain it right now because I'm just kind of going through it. But I am literally doing all that stuff right now.
So Becca wrote us, like, thanks for the support, everyone who's on and writing stuff. People want to hear you as much as you want to hear them. It's a two-way street. Like, on Wednesday of last week, the Just for Today writing was about basically don't shoot the messenger. Like, and I'm guilty of this, meaning the whole writing was about, don't when someone's sharing, and now think about your own situation. When you're at meetings and you know that one guy, shit, he's going to share again. I know he's going to share. He's loud, he's obnoxious, he tries to be funny or whatever it is. Like, there's a guy who's a long timer in this program, got lots and lots of years, real loud, seems obnoxious, but if you listen to what he shares, usually it's about his day-to-days, okay? So I didn't notice this until 2 years of hearing, after 2 years of being irritated by this guy and hearing him share every time and being loud and saying these corny ass, oh, that's my 3 minutes of insomnia and whatever he says. But the message he was sharing, I closed myself off to hearing it just by the judgmental shit I was doing of, God, he's loud, he's irritating. I didn't want to hear him. Once I stopped wanting to shoot the messenger and just hear the message, like the growth is just beyond, that's the two-way street. Now I go to a meeting, like the pitch of someone's voice, the way they look, the length of their share. They're sharing something for a reason. Whether their motive is to be heard or ego, you can get something out of someone's share, no matter what. Whether it's something negative, you can get some growth out of someone's share, as long as you're open to hear a message or willing, like all this shit they teach us.
I was gonna say another thing with that reaching, or the thing we were just talking about, is for me, it was the like not. Oh shit! I just lost my train of thought.
All right, well then that's what I'm here for. Yeah,
Did you see what Becca just wrote?
yeah,
That's a really good friend of mine.
I find that when I am annoyed with someone, God is telling me to pay more attention. There's tons of that stuff out there. Like, and I don't know. A lot of things are true. Go ahead. There you go.
The judging. So this literally just happened today with my therapist when I left his office, and I need to stop judging everyone because then I will stop thinking that they're judging me.
Huh? You're doing
And
on to
that's
others.
literally what Jeff was just talking about a minute ago about the like being able to share. It's
You're
when you
doing on
stop
to others.
judging- Yeah, it's literally I'm being hypocritical every time. This whole past 3 years, I've literally in my head been talking smack about everyone in the rooms, and it's like I'm not no better than anybody. I'm just the same.
Really?
I'm gonna get beat up when I.
It only took
We're
3
good.
years to figure that one out, huh?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm getting better at this.
Listen, our growth is it's your growth, dude. It's on you to grow. It's at your speed. Like, if it took you to whenever, it takes you to whenever. Jeff, I want to bring something up that you shared about. And if you don't want to talk about it, it's all. Hang on a sec. What I wanted to do, we're gonna do tidbits, but we're gonna do them a little late. So, you cool with that? We talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So you brought up jail earlier, and I heard you share once. It was the Sunday that you shared that I was like, I don't even know this dude, and I want to get to know him. You shared about the people you keep around you. You shared about the time you had and what you could have done while in jail. Like, people were living in there like addicts, whether they had dope or not, but you could have got dope. Like, a lot of your clean time is jail time, correct?
Yeah, the first three, first 3 years was in prison.
Tell us about it. If you're whatever you're comfortable talking about. Because we were gonna have a show with our old producer Matt, because he was fresh out. Like, he was out on like a 10-year bid or something, and he wanted to have a couple of shows in a row with people just getting out. Because there's a huge there's a bunch of people that are just getting out, and you know what them options, if you didn't live clean inside, getting out is going to be twice as hard to get clean or stay clean. So, like, he wanted to set up some networking systems and, like, tell us what it was like a little bit inside, and then when you got out, hit the ground running. How was that?
Yeah, so by the time I finally got to prison, I was done with using long before I ever quit. And when I got to prison, I was so relieved because I knew that the misery was finally going to be over. I was finally in a position where I couldn't manipulate, lie my way out. I couldn't bargain or do anything. I mean, the commitment papers were there. I was there until 2021.
It was almost the weight was off your shoulders when you knew.
I was safe for myself.
Right. There you go. Safe from yourself.
It truly was. does. And for anybody that's been to prison or knows anybody that's been there, you can live as much of an addict life inside the wall as you can outside. There's drugs in there, there's alcohol in there, there's people abusing medications, on all kinds of just, dumb shit, you know what I mean? And I didn't want any part of it. I mean, I knew that, when I went in, I was 38. And I was living a life that I didn't want to be living. I didn't really know what I wanted from life, but I knew I didn't want what I had. And I tried for a long time to stop, and I couldn't. So when I got to prison, I made the decision that I'm going to put in the work, do whatever I got to do to make sure that I'm a different man when I walk out. I couldn't help but think, you see in movies all the time, somebody goes into prison, they're always working out, running, and they come out and they're this totally different man or whatever person.
Right.
And I kind of use that as motivation, because I wanted to change my life.
Minus county and just the weekends, like, was this the first time you'd been to prison?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And so yeah, it's kind of got a late start on the prison life. I wish I would have went there sooner. I don't know if I would have had the same results or not, but so I didn't get involved with any of the gang shit. I stuck to myself. I met a couple of guys in there that I ended up doing my whole time with, and I stayed involved with meetings, the church. I did a lot of, just read every book I could on just self-help and becoming a better person.
Was it helping you while in prison, reading self-help books and going to meetings? Was that helping you through to the next days, or were you knowing you were growing while in there?
Well, for the, not really. I mean, not at first. I couldn't feel it. I mean, it took the first year alone just for the fog to start wearing off.
Okay.
I mean, like the last 5 years of my addiction was mostly huff and aerosol computer duster. I mean, and that shit really fucked me up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was damn near retarded there for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way.
We say mentally challenged now.
Yes.
Is that the right term, Elena? Not retarded. What's the right word? Mentally disabled. Yeah, mentally disabled. It doesn't matter.
definitely
You're
mentally
huffing
disabled.
goddamn computer duster, bro.
Yeah.
It got the best of you, and yeah, you're a walking zombie by the time you went into prison. So a year to get clear-headed.
Yeah, it took at least a year for the fog to start wearing off. And, when I went into prison, I was probably down to 130 pounds.
Fuck.
After the first year of prison, I was up to like 220. So it was
Just
from
balloon.
one extreme to the other. So all they sell you is cookies and cakes and
Right.
stuff in there.
I can't eat a honey bun. I will never eat another honey bun as long as I live because that's all. Whatever. So yeah.
So then I went to after getting out of Stillwater, I went to Lionel Lakes for a program called PFA, Prison Fellowship.
Okay.
And, it's basically a year-long Bible study program. Did all I could there, invested, I just,
Was this after? When was this during your stay that you went to that? Was it after the first year?
yeah.
So you were
I was a year and a half in.
clear body, mind, and soul. Like you knew it
Starting to
was.
feel better. And
The thing I got a question was, you started your recovery in prison. Now, people outside of prison, I can speak on this, is my first 6 months, there was a pink cloud. Like, you've heard the term. Elena, that pink cloud that you're on that first couple months, finally clean, you're seeing some whatever. Is that kind of an oxymoron in the prison system? Because you're now locked up. Your freedom's gone. Plus, you're coming out of the duster. I don't know what that's like. But is there even time for a pink cloud? Were you able to realize, like, shit, I'm fucking finally free from addiction? Or
well,
not to railroad your conversation, because I'm going to bring you right back to the fellowship thing. But
no, that's fine. Because I've been, my first inpatient treatment, I was 12 years old. And I've pretty much done at least one a year since then.
oh, that's right, you shared that. Okay.
But, so I definitely know that treatment high, coming out, feeling good. You got, you got some sleep.
The
got
pink
some
cloud.
food in you,
Or- yeah,
feeling
okay.
good, cleaned up a little bit. You feel great. You're on top of the world. But for me, it never lasted very long.
Okay.
I was lucky if it lasted 2 weeks. But even unless I had some sort of, incentive like probation.
Right,
whatever,
right.
But, it still didn't last very long. Professional at failing you ways.
Right.
But when I was in prison, there was a weight lifted off me when I was in there. It took a minute for everything to settle in, and I mean, I had good days and bad days, because every time I'm like, it's 40 months, I'm going to be here. I mean, they're not going to let me out for 40 months. I'm like, what did I do? I mean,
Right.
when I got into the cell in St. Cloud, I mean, I couldn't believe how small it was, and how big the guy that had the sheriff's cell was. I mean, but yeah, I knew one of my problems in life is I never had vision of what I wanted for my life
Okay.
or who I wanted to be or anything like that. When I got to prison, I definitely had vision of what I didn't want my life to be anymore. So
Like one of those statements, I know what doesn't work.
Right.
Okay.
And I didn't really know how to fix it. I just knew that I had to do everything different than what I was doing before. So I started, investing time in myself, in my education, made sure I get up early. I mean, I stayed working there the whole time. I just eventually sat down and I wrote out a thing of what I wanted for my life.
Goals?
Huh?
Goals or just a life plan?
Goals, life plan, and I got real specific with it.
You had some time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, it kind of dawned on me that I got to make decisions that are going to bring me closer to that vision rather than bring me farther away from it.
Was this during your Bible study it was a year long, you said, the Bible fellowship? What was it called?
Prison fellowship,
Prison fellowship. Okay.
yeah. Yeah. Prison Fellowship Academy, yeah, that's what it was. PFA.
Okay.
I had to think about it for a minute.
The anagram, yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you do this life plan while you were there during that time of your stint, or?
Yeah, I think I did. I believe I rewrote it a couple times.
Okay.
While I was there.
Right.
Because, at first, I had some unrealistic things, or even as time went by and I started to sober up and to get a more clear head, the things that I wanted from life changed.
Mm-hmm. What was important and what really was, or what have you. So, like, the temptations are there, right? When you're in prison, like, you're being approached, whatever, gangs, drugs, whatever the case, extortion. I know there's lots of different, I don't know if temptation is the right word, but there could have been a lot of ways of going opposite of what your life goals were or plans were, correct?
Correct.
And you ended up, there was no real early release, was there? You got it was 40 months you had to do.
60,
Yeah.
60 months for possession of a firearm. And,
So 5 years, and then that's state time. So you what is it, 70%?
2/3, yeah.
2/3, yeah.
so 40 months. I got out 4 months early for work release.
Okay.
I went, because I did that prison fellowship program, I got to go to a faith-based work release facility, which was out of county, which I wouldn't have been able to go there. I would have had to go back up to Anoka County, but I got to stay down in Hennepin County. The guys there, they seen the work I was putting in. He hooked me up with a job that just, it was a temporary tongue-tied. It was a temp service for construction. And,
Okay.
I had to take the bus, and it didn't pay that well. Some of the jobs really sucked, but I was blessed. It was an opportunity, and it got me to where I'm at today. It got my license and
Right.
place to stay, and actually got hired on by one of the companies that I was a temp for, and like you, was
Doing pretty well now, right?
real well. Yes.
Yeah.
Blessed.
Yeah, vehicle, and yeah, your situation's much more improved. Plus the whole clear head thing and this recovery. I know this is kind of a corny question, but do you think you'd be where you're at now without being in recovery? I'm saying outside of prison. If you'd got out of prison and just, you went to work release and you weren't doing any of this, coming to meetings, taking a position, doing this, that? Does your head tell you you think you could still be where you're at right now?
Physically, yes, because right when I got out, I wasn't coming to meetings.
Right.
I told myself I had enough of that while I was in prison. I had enough programming. I just did all this time, whatever. You know, I want to do me. And it didn't take long for that feeling of I'm missing something.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I didn't really know, I mean, between work and just my personality, I mean, and not going back to any of the old people, where else can I connect with people other than coming to a meeting? That's, you know, at first I'd come and sit in the back row, one chair. Chances are I'd probably leave early.
They call that relapse row.
Yeah.
I've heard it called that. I don't know. I thought it was funny, but so then how long after you got out was it that you started coming back to meetings? You said about 3 months?
I'd say about 4 months, yeah.
And you just avoid something just wasn't clicking.
Yeah, something wasn't clicking, I was missing something. I had that desire for connection, and, you know, I figured I'd give the meetings a try. And thankfully that, you know, Phoenix was 6 nights a week, so I was able to pop in and out at first as I wanted to without any real commitment.
Right.
And it was always here, not far away.
That didn't take long to get commitment. Once you start showing your face around there daily, you get commitments coming.
I know how that goes.
But you've helped save the life of that meeting too. You've been part of every business meeting. Like, this is the part where I pat you on the back. It's like Jeff has showed up to this meeting that was born out of COVID. This meeting was up here at this club. And the way it works is, you know, it's a self-supporting meeting. All of these fellowships are, you know, we run off our own dollars we bring in. We are our own directors of a meeting. But Jeff's been there since you've gotten involved. I think from what I've seen, you just move straight up. You're coming daily or how much ever time you were coming. And all of a sudden you're just there. You've been there, boom, boom, boom. And now I'm trying to even push another night on you of, you know, treasure. That'd be pretty awesome if you did that. But like these commitments, they still don't feel, do they feel like a chore to you? Or what do these commitments mean to you or feel like for you? What do they do for you?
Well, for one, they help me feel connected. They give me purpose. Like I said, when I was first coming to the meetings here, you know, I mean, sitting in the back row, I'd see everybody, you know, hugging and shaking hands and glad to see each other and knew each other by name. You know, I still didn't feel part of the meeting. I mean, even
Right.
though I'd show up almost every day, but I also wasn't putting myself out there. And then somebody had suggested I stay for the business meeting, and I was gonna, and he suggested I take a position, and I was gonna, and then I started just automatically started walking out to the parking lot. I was gonna leave, yep. And I turned around, come back, and took the position, and I don't know, it's definitely a direction, you know, a step in the right direction, because it's definitely been laid upon my heart by the Lord that I got a calling, you know, is to help people. I just don't exactly know how to do it, so I just
Show up.
and he keeps presenting things to me. And whether I want to do them or not, they feel right.
I've heard that somewhere. God will never put more on your plate than you can handle. He'll put enough on your plate for you guys both to handle. So, like, you're never doing it alone. What's up, brother? This question's for both of you. I'm going to start with you, Ryan, because I've been making Jeff speak this whole time.
Well, other than the mental jail, I've never been to that side, so I was learning a lot.
There you go. And you're like, I'm getting tongue twisted. I'm like, this is the most I've made you talk since I've met you. So you said something about you were at a meeting. You're watching people happy, you know, knowing each other's names, clapping hands, hugging, that connection you're looking for, but you still weren't feeling connected. Now, I don't know if you've experienced it, Ryan. You go to meetings. Now, I don't know the answer to yours yet, Jeff, but you can think about it. My question is, How did you end up getting connected? How have you seen it work, Ryan? Did you end up having to make that move, or did someone pull you in and start to introduce? Like, how did that happen for you to start getting a group of people in your life, a fellowship in your life? How did that work for you?
There's never been a more truer statement than you gotta just want it. Like, the whole time I've been trying to do recovery, it's been for this reason, for that reason, for this reason, for that reason, this person, for that person. And nothing has worked. And the thing I'm kind of coming to find out is I just need to give up. Not in a bad way, but I need to give up on everything I've been doing. Because everything I've been doing, like, that's where I'm kind of wrong with the prison thing, because I've been stuck in a prison in my head for years and years and years. And it's like I can't get out of it. I can't. Not that I'm not getting out of it or doing anything, but I'm just starting to get into the realm of doing that. That it's like I'm not fully sure how to do this, but I know that a big part is just giving up and getting a sponsor and doing everything your sponsor says. And that's kind of where the fear comes.
You mean everything your sponsor suggests?
Or yeah, suggest.
No,
But
I don't.
everything that like I've been doing, I know has only led me to drink and be in an emotional prison. And no matter what I do, I need to get the hell out of my own way. And it kind of just like the sayings, everything. Like I said before, I'm a skeptic. I've been a skeptic since day one on everything I do. I question everything. And I've been questioning it so much that all I'm finding now is the right answers. And like, that's where I don't know if it's that I'm growing, I'm maturing or what, but like I'm starting to get what everyone's saying in these rooms.
Like, so do you believe there's a point? Our question went from, how do you get connected with a fellowship when you're in the back row watching people connecting? How did you break that barrier? And we ended up with
I haven't.
talking about,
Well, that's where I haven't yet.
okay,
I haven't
so
broke it fully, but tonight,
this is your step.
first step was at the first meeting I went to, was just calling out the situation I was in.
I wasn't calling y'all like, dude, you strayed from my question. I was saying I like where it went to, like where you built
I
it
was calling
to.
you out.
You built it on over, like you took a turn during that into basically like, I finally realized I don't know shit and I got to ask someone and I need to just understand. I need direction.
Tonight, the first move.
Dude, you made of money. You're just falling, dropping money all over the joint. Okay, so yeah.
Tonight it started with just like being honest and actually honest with a few people that I have to be accountable with. And that's where from
Yourself.
well, not
Accountable
just-
to yourself.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
just go ahead.
I was gonna say it's more about being accountable to other people, but it is I have to want it. It's all about this is where in your recovery it's good to be selfish in a certain way. And right now I need to be as selfish as possible. Forget worrying about women. Forget worrying about
There you
pulling
go.
someone in. And
There you go.
A lot of stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna get called out. It's okay.
Where's our motives at?
But yeah,
Because
that's
I
where it
want to
is.
call you out on something, but I don't know if it's even appropriate for the air. Because I just heard you mention something about some other girl. Like, dude, the last few weeks have been hell for you, man. And now I'm hearing whatever.
I have this whole bag of candy here I can start throwing
But
at
that
him.
ain't where we need. That's off the air. We'll talk about it. But and Elena had a whole segment a few weeks ago about that. There's a time and place where our recovery has to be super selfish.
I
I
was
just had a
literally
whole segment.
I was listening to that the entire time.
I just had a whole segment an
Yeah.
hour and a half ago.
That's where this whole like past 3 weeks has been listening to the podcast every Friday and being involved. And literally I've been telling like all my friends that in recovery and aren't in recovery that are just having all these problems in their life. I'm like, it's just about being there and just try it. I've literally, yeah, it's kind of taken me a little while. I haven't even done a step yet.
Yeah, it's only been
I'm
3
still
years.
sober for 3
You're fine. Yeah.
Wait, what did you just say?
Oh, what?
What did you just say?
I didn't even do a step yet.
You haven't?
Nah. I
You
mean,
haven't- you haven't done a step yet.
he said he hasn't admitted that he's powerless.
Well, no, okay. The only thing I've done is the first step.
There
Oh,
you go.
well, right now you're doing step 12.
Yeah.
Well,
Boom.
that's too. I also got to get educated on the steps because me being the addict I am, I know it all.
Look to your left.
Yeah.
You know what's really awesome about that is that I know a lot of people that you could talk to about being a sponsor.
Yeah, he already brought that up on the show. He said he came here to ask Tad or me or something like that.
And you remember that 10-10 meeting I told you about at Blaine Alleno on Saturday mornings?
I'm sorry for that. I will be going tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow morning, buddy.
Unless you told someone you'd be there and didn't show, you're fine. So, Jeff,
Oh yeah, that's exactly.
how did that happen where all of a sudden you're in the back row, you're watching people connect, and you want that connection? How did it happen that you ended up making connections? What did you do, or what did someone else do, or what happened?
Like I said, somebody reached out to me about the business meeting. I took position as secretary and just, you know what I mean, being committed and showing up on a regular basis rather than just popping in and out when I wanted to and leaving early. And like I said, you know, I mean, the Lord's impressed it upon me or laid it on my heart that I got a message to share. You know, and it's like she was saying, you know, you don't have to share, but for me, when I'm sitting there at a meeting, I'm screaming on the inside to share. You know what I mean, like I want to get it out, but I got that enemy inside my head that tries to keep me quiet.
The enemy's strong.
Yeah, it's very, and it just gradually happened over time, coming to the commitment and showing up. But it also made, I mean, kind of messed up because I get these people here in these rooms that want to hang out, want me around, and want to be friends, and I kind of slow at accepting it or, you know, putting effort into it. I'd rather chase these people that don't really, you know, respond to text messages or, you know, want
He
me
was looking at someone. Was it me?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, but, you know, I mean, I just, trying to be friends with people that make it clear that, I mean, they got other things going on.
You know what? And
Put too much effort into
someone just had a whole segment about
I
that.
said, don't chase people.
Right. Somebody told me once a long time ago to surround yourself with people that celebrate you, not tolerate you.
That's a good. Say that again.
There you go.
Say it again.
Surround yourself with people that celebrate you, not tolerate you.
That's huge.
But I think I got this deeply embedded need for pain in my life where I chase people that reject me.
I think you know what, and I think there's a small part of human nature that we do that shit. We want what we can't have.
Yes.
Let's
But
try
we-
it. Yeah.
But in recovery, we no longer need to settle.
No,
we
no,
don't.
no. You're right.
So when we chase people, like I'll go back to what I said earlier. When we chase people to be in our lives, we're settling. We don't need to do that.
But wait,
anymore.
I'm gonna contradict that a little bit because in early recovery for me, and I'm gonna say this is early recovery for you. You've been out for only how long, and you're just in these rooms. Like to this recovery, it's pretty fresh for you. Being around these meetings and coming here and doing what you're doing is like my first year recovery to coming to these rooms. I mean, I have literally one person from that first year recovery that let's say three, that I'm in contact with today. But don't get it confused. I got 75 numbers from the first year recovery. Probably 40 of them are back out using, 10 of them are dead. The rest just weren't friends. You just, over time, like, I didn't know any better. That's the same statement I use. We're not going to do tidbits with Timmy, but at 5 months, at 3 months, how the fuck am I going to know what a winner looks like? I've been a loser for 10 fucking years jamming a needle in my arm. How am I supposed to know what a winner looks like just because I'm not shooting dope anymore? I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what a successful person looks like. I don't know what the next right thing is. Like, I got to keep showing up to figure that shit out. So it's like, don't get down on yourself for thinking, oh shit, like I'm reaching out to these people, they're not getting back. Over time, and I'm guilty of that now today because of all the connections I made. Like, that's why I was like, damn, did I not respond to one of his text messages? But it's that easy. You never know where you're meeting someone in their life on the road that one response, whether you're talking to them daily and you don't respond that one time, could go and fuck up their whole week. That could wreck someone's whole week. And I'm guilty of it too. Someone doesn't respond to me, all of a sudden I get in my head about it. We talked about this in the early days of the show. Like, Tad didn't respond to me once, and my head had him relapsed. It had him dead. It had him hating me. It had him not wanting me on the show, all because he didn't answer a phone call. Like, my head, dude, just, like, I'm sick. I don't know. How does a sick mind make a good choice? Keep showing up. I don't know. Find a higher power. And the higher power roadblock, like I always say that, I want my recovery so fucking bad, I will not let there be a roadblock in the way of that recovery, no matter what it is. Sometimes I don't notice there's a roadblock there until it's too late. But if something in my head's telling me, nah, God, yeah, right. Dude, I want my recovery. If I need to just say, okay, I believe a God, I'll do that, dude. That's me, my story. I'm not telling no one else they have to figure it out. What I'm saying is, I want my recovery so bad, there will be nothing that gets in the way of that. So if you tell me, I used to joke about this, I just never was able to make it come out and sound right. But if I walked into these rooms and you guys are devil worshippers, I'd have a fucking 666 tattoo on my forehead. I'm just telling you, that's how bad I want this. If I came into the wrong type of fellowship, that's why I think some of these cults and shit, it can get real twisted. You don't know what. I had a sick brain. I'm lucky I found Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. I'm glad I found these fellowships and not something else. I was weak-minded, didn't know what to do, but I knew I didn't want to do dope anymore. I knew I didn't want to be as sick as I was. It's just how it goes. So I keep coming back to, I see what feels right. Something. Still trying to figure it out. There's no exact answer. Shit. I was hoping to come in here and you guys are going to say, oh, yeah, you jump up twice, turn around, flick your nipples, and you're healed. It's just not that easy. Got to put some work in. Got to keep coming back. Elena, speak on it. Come on. Host this. Come on. I know I didn't mic drop nothing.
You kind of did in a few spots. You kind of did in a few spots, but that's why I love you. You are such a great friend.
Come on. Your turn.
What do you want me to say, Tim?
Get our guests engaged.
Oh my goodness.
Be a host now. We're going to run it through on air, hosting you up. Come on, guest. She's going to get you talking.
I said so much earlier.
All right.
Now I'm just kind of tired.
We're going to go back to questions here.
We're gonna.
Go ahead.
We didn't even have any questions.
I
today.
get so many questions via text that people don't want to be on here. I got questions.
So, well, give me a
Are
question.
you here, Elena? I'll whisper it to you.
We whisper in my ear.
All right. So we'll start with Ryan. What's been your biggest hurdle in recovery? I think it's just because I brought up how I have no hurt. I have no
You
roadblocks.
already answered something like that.
So answer it again.
Oh, I can answer.
What's been your biggest hurdle in recovery? Whether you've made it over that hurdle or not.
Accepting that I'm an alcoholic.
Okay, there you go. Hey, that's strong.
Because that literally, like, the know-it-all is sitting there saying, like, I can do these steps in a day. I've literally been struggling back and forth with step one for like 5 years. I've done it. I know I've done it. I've worked it. I've done everything for it, but I've never lived it. So it's like, that's the main thing, is like, now I think in my life I'm comfortable enough without the substance that the emotional side is coming through, saying, okay, now it's time to take the next step. And the next step is starting the steps.
Oh, all right. It's a good hurdle. That's a hell of a hurdle. If this is what you want, that's a hell of a hurdle.
And that's the thing I wanted.
Then there you go. Then, yeah, it's a hurdle to get over. Jeff, you've had time to think about it. What's been your biggest hurdle in recovery so far?
Staying the course, being comfortable by myself.
Shit.
Women or the lack of.
You're going to have to tune in every week now to hear self-care, because that's what she talks about. Self-care.
Well, you guys have been trying to get me on here for over a month now. It's probably not a coincidence that she brought up the subject she did.
I don't know. She had a whole notebook on it, but that's good. Higher power shit.
Everything.
Okay.
I write stuff down.
So, Ryan, if you could change one thing about yourself with no strings attached, what would it be?
The way I judge myself. Because I want to say the way I judge other people, but I've definitely learned that everything I've pushed out into the world is what I see as myself that I'm not comfortable with saying to myself. I don't know how that's supposed to go, but I know there's a better way of saying it. I'm not just that great at doing it, so yeah.
Jeff, if there's one thing you could change about yourself with no strings attached, what would it be?
Guess I'd want to like myself.
That's powerful. Are you taking steps to try and do so? Or consciously dealing with that?
Well, you know, they say that, I mean, all the people that are in my life tell me how good of a job I'm doing and how, you know, I'm a good guy, this and that, and how much better I am than I was before, and I do everything I can to be a good person. Still doesn't mean that,
You feel.
I like myself. I mean, it sounds weird, but it's real.
That is real. What about you, Tim?
Not to be out on the dance floor dancing like C3PO on the Fritz. No, all right. You should see me dance. It's like C3PO on the Fritz. Like, don't stand near me. I'm gonna knock you out. All right. One thing that I could change about myself is honesty. Something I need to work on still. I think I was more honest in early recovery than I am now. I think I let white lies slip a lot easier now. I think I'm being more dishonest now than I've ever been in my recovery. I don't know why. I don't know why I allow it. Maybe I need run some steps again. I don't know. But honesty. I would like to change my level of honesty versus my level of honesty. Elena, if there's one thing, no strings attached, that you could change about yourself, what would it be?
That one's easy. I'm still having a hard time saying no.
Boundaries. Whoo.
Well, it's not
Explain.
exactly. It's not exactly boundaries. I'm still having a hard time saying no. So like when people call me up and say, like when people call me up in recovery, I'm always available. So like if people call me up and say they need a ride to a meeting, or people call me up and which I'm always willing to give people a ride to a meeting. So don't get me wrong there. But when people call me up and say I need a ride to a meeting, or I need a ride here, or I need help moving, or I need help with this, or I need help with that, I'm always the person that's going to say yes. I'm going to drop what I'm doing for myself, and I'm going to go and do it. And that's one of the things that that's one of the reasons why I do this self-care thing, this self-love thing, because I am my number one person that needs to be doing this. It's not just for everybody else. The things that I talk about when I do these things, this is stuff that I do for myself too. It's not just me telling you, you need to go do this. This is stuff that I do on a daily basis, because otherwise, why would I be telling you? So I have an issue with saying no to people.
That's pretty, guys, get a snorkel or a shovel, because that was deep. That was deep. All right, let's find one of these other questions we got here for our guests
You are just
tonight.
too much tonight.
Change your attitude and change your attitude or change your sober date. Whoa.
Prepare. Who said that? Don't tell me.
Yeah,
said that.
prepare for the day, not repair for the. Prepare for the day, not repair the day.
What did I see today?
Life doesn't suck. Your attitude does. These are just something someone sent me.
Someone sent you that?
Yeah, they're like, I tell people to make this show theirs. So that's what people do, and they wait for me to say some of the things that they've texted me, and they didn't give me the okay to say it was from them. Dreams don't have to have deadlines. Dreams don't have to have a deadline. You can always have dreams. Like, give yourself some time to accomplish those dreams. You have all the time that you want to invest in your dreams. As long as you stay hungry and adamant about those dreams, and never let anybody tell you that it's not possible, because anything's possible that you work at. And you give it your all as long as you can give it your all. Just try and give it your all. No one can take it away from you, because you know. Inside your heart and down inside your gut, you know that you're worth it. So do it. I should proofread before and then the end of that was never dance by me. I'm like, C3PO on the fridge. You might get knocked out. I don't know where that came from. All right, it's 22, no Tim segment tonight. But I wanted to.
Tim segment?
No, I wanted shit. The whole show's been a Tim segment. I've been talking my ass off.
No, you haven't.
How does the moon cut its hair? Eclipse it. We do a lot of dad jokes on here. What do you mean? Oh no.
Do not do dad jokes. Tim does dad jokes.
I don't have kids.
You know what? I thought Tad was gonna text in some of his jokes. Well, you know what? Here we go. A man walked into a seafood restaurant and asked for a lobster tail. The waitress smiled, said, "Oh, sweetie, once upon a time there was a hamster lobster." Get it? A lobster tail. Oh, boys and girls, come on. These are dad jokes.
Don't get it.
I want a lobster tail. You know, like tell me a tale. Get it? They're a fairy tale.
Okay.
My wife tells me I have two major faults. I don't listen and something else.
That was so good.
As I get older, I remember all the people I lost along the way. Maybe my buddy's maybe my budding career as a tour guide was not the right choice. Get it? All the people I lost along the way. Jeez, if I gotta explain a corny as dad joke to you, Elena. What prize do you give someone who?
Mom.
Hey, you're right. Maybe there's something called mom jokes. They're probably filthy. Is there really?
Probably filthy because
Yeah.
I tell my kids filthy jokes. all the time.
What prize do you give someone who hasn't? You know what? No, I can't tell that on air. And there's no way that's a dad
Tell
joke.
us after.
If I'm the one saying we don't tell that on air, you know, we don't tell that on the air. Never blame someone else for the road you are on. That is your own asphalt. Asphalt, fault.
What?
All right, guys and gals. I met a magician. You know what? Here, let's just move this. Let's just, you know what? Enough with the dad jokes. Because there's no Tim segment. I wanted to do some dad jokes. Before we wrap up tonight, Ryan, is there anything that you want to talk about?
No, I just make sure that if you're kind of back to what Elena was saying with the sharing with certain people and not sharing at all. Never be that. For me, it kept hurting me when I'm holding everything in. I just need to find one person to reach out to. So it's like, even if you don't feel like you can reach out to somebody, just try reaching out to somebody before you use. Like, that's all I gotta say, because that saved me basically my past 6 months of my life. Probably should be dead right now, and I'm lucky.
It's like the third time you said that tonight. Probably should be dead.
Yeah.
You say you probably should be dead. All right, dude. Probably should be dead means you went through some scary ass shit in your life.
The emotion side, I was ready to.
And this is the most scared you've been.
Only because I
Perspective, brah.
know that I'm ready to jump now out of that plane. I'm not just looking down anymore and seeing all this stuff. It's like they just open the window and it's like time to jump. And if I don't jump, to me, I'm gonna look like a little wussy. And I'm not a wussy in life. So
Wussy. I haven't heard that word in a long time.
it's gotta be nice.
All right, we're gonna a little lighthearted before we ask Jeff. Here you go, Elena.
What?
Why is a computer so smart? Because it listens to its motherboard. These are mom jokes. Why did the cookie cry? Because his mother was away for so long. A wafer? So long. A wafer. I know Elena didn't. The mom in the room. What are three quickest ways to spread? What are the three quickest ways to spread a rumor? The internet, telephone, and telling your mom. You're telling me mom jokes are better than dad jokes? I think it just means because they have to do with a mom. Mother said to her son, "Look at the kids over there. He's not misbehaving." The son replied, "Maybe he has good parents then." Jesus. Hey, Jeff. Never tell mom jokes. Other than that, is there anything that you wanted to touch on before we start wrapping up? What's worse than ants in your pants? Uncles.
Oh my god.
That comes from the one and only Jeff. We better lighten that one back down. Why don't mothers wear watches? There's a clock on the stove That's a sexist ass joke.
Dude,
But that's a mother joke.
you need to stop.
Ants
Right
in your
now.
pants, uncles.
I
Jeff,
don't even use my stove. You need to stop.
she said, I know how to make the best bowl of cereal in the world.
Microwave.
I date a girl who doesn't own a microwave. What you think about that?
That's hot.
Doesn't own a microwave. I'm over here still scratching my head. That would be I guess that would be the next question. No, she's a cook, dude. She's like microwave. All right, Jeff, is there anything you wanted to talk about or touch on before we got off tonight? Got off the program tonight? All these effed up jokes that I gotta clarify words like got off.
You should.
Yeah.
Yes, to anybody that's got any doubts about whether or not this is real and whether it works, it does. The other night, last Wednesday, somebody invited me to bring a meeting into detox with them, and it was kind of surreal because I've been in so many different detox treatments, jails, prison, where they're always bringing the meetings in. And I'm seeing these people that are coming in, they're happy, they're smiling, they're loving life, looking good, smelling good. And I was always suspect of them because there's no way that if you had lived the life that I'd been living and been through the hell that I've been through, that you could be looking and acting the way that they were. And then I got to be on the other side of that finally. I got to bring a meeting into a place.
What was the best part at the end? Well, no, say it.
Getting to leave?
You got to leave when the meeting was over.
Right.
At a detox center, you got to leave. We were talking on the phone about it. I think it was on the phone. And you said that to me, and I was like, you know what? That was an aspect I never looked at. Like, but our stories are so much different. I never had any taste of recovery until I got into recovery. This last time, this only time, my first time, my last time. Tad gives me shit sometimes. He's like, yeah, Tim's one of those once in a life, one and done. It's not that. I just never came to these rooms. That's not to say I didn't try to quit 100,000 times, and I just couldn't. The only taste of recovery I have is this last 4 years. But you're right. Like, I never thought of that. When I was in jail, when I was in county, when I was wherever, when I was at detox, I didn't look at it as they get to leave. I was so thirsty for recovery when I was in detox and when I was at Lodging Plus, my inpatient, and I was so just not intrigued, but I wanted this so bad that in detox, when they bring a meeting in, I was like, that's what I need. This is why I'm here. Like, that was the first taste of AA I ever saw. NA, CMA, like every night they brought a different fellowship in. So like, I was like intrigued by it. And, I had that thought too. Like, there's no way these guys were, cause I'm fresh. Like 4 days ago, I had a spike hanging out my arm, and I'm like, there's no way these dudes were where I was at. They're not as bad as me. But I was still stuck on that whole, my story's more important. You weren't like me. I'm special. My story is way more until I realized that's what my tidbits were gonna be about tonight, was that like, I don't know what that point was, but at some point around 1 year to 2 years, I realized like my shit ain't special. I kind of talked about it earlier. It's like my story is the exact same as everyone in every one of these fellowships I go to, with just some slight different details. Whether it was a death, whether it was jail, whether it was just the doctors gave me too much dope, I broke an arm, whatever the story was, like, ended up doing shit I never wanted to end up doing, and I found the rooms of recovery. Like, my story's not special. The part of my story that is special is once I got into recovery. And that's what I want to tell anyone listening. Like, your story is special. Like, you do have a voice. Paul B. from Will Work always says it. Like, everyone has a voice, and everyone's voice is important. So don't sit on that voice. We spent a lot of time tonight talking about sharing and getting outside yourself, and don't letting that fucking weigh you down. If you got something to share that shit. Like, you're not gonna. 4 or 5 people made comments about that when we were talking about sharing, and it's like, it's part of this thing we do. Elena talked about it. to you tonight, Ryan, like showing up here is part of the 12th step. Showing up at a meeting alone is service work. Sharing is another step of service work. Share if you got something to share. If time doesn't permit it, grab someone after the meeting. If that person doesn't have time for you, that's a person you don't need to be affiliated with anyways. Find someone else. Don't take that shit home. Like, what you got to say, you're right, could save someone's life. You could bring someone out of the gutter. You could help someone untie a fucking rope that they're about to tie.
Well, that's what I really like about Phoenix too is, you know, it's basically a newcomers meeting, and you see a lot of people that are struggling and in pain, and they come here and they share it, and it just, I mean, it breaks my heart, but it motivates me at the same time, and it's part of what keeps me coming back, because I want them to see that there, I mean, it is possible. There are people that do succeed. You don't have to stay miserable.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're out there hurting, struggling, stay in the struggle,
Right.
because it ain't gonna last forever.
That's another thing too, is we talk about the newcomer's most important person in the room. It's elaborated in certain reads, but I can see so many different facets of that statement. For that fact of every day that I'm clean is a day further away from my last relapse or my last use. And that much further away from the memory I had of how bad it really got. Because I'm human, meaning like my brain tells me it wasn't that bad. I need that newcomer to look at him coming in here struggling. Unfortunately, like it's not a catch-22, but I do sometimes feel bad talking about how much I need a newcomer. I need that person in here struggling. I need that one who's sitting in there just getting over those DTs, or who's really hurting, or just wants to use because they're pretty sure that will take away the pain. Like, I forget about how bad it was, and how that's what it was for me. Like, I sometimes forget about that. The rearview mirror is still a foot in front of me. Like, it's just behind me, one decision away before I'm turned around. What you chuckling about? Come on.
I'm just listening.
Time to drop some dimes on them. We
I
got
got
5
it.
minutes.
I got some.
Come on.
5 minutes? Okay, so I'm giving everybody a challenge this week. Everybody that's listening this week, there's a challenge. Because of everything that we've talked about in this meeting, if you don't open up at meetings, then I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to open up at a meeting. If you can't talk during the meeting, then find somebody after the meeting.
Because, for instance, the meeting we're going to tomorrow, there's like 100 people sometimes, and it could be hard to share.
It's an amazing meeting.
What do you
though.
do when you don't get a chance to share at those meetings? What do you do?
What do? I go to fellowship afterwards. We go and we get lunch afterwards. And everybody is always welcome.
So before I so rudely cut you off, what is that challenge again?
So the challenge is that reach out at a meeting. If you don't have time to share at a meeting, then talk to somebody after the meeting. Find a way to speak, to say what's on your mind. Because when you do hold on to that stuff, then that's a weight on your shoulders that you do not need on your shoulders. Because God knows we're human, and that's something that we do all the time. And I can admit sometimes I'm guilty of it. But I have a network. I have, like, Tim's got his guy group text, whatever the heck
Sounds like you're hating on it.
his boy, whatever. I got a woman one. I don't necessarily like women, but I got a group of 8 women that I text. So there's a thing that we do in recovery, and that is reaching out, whether it be for something small or it be for something big. Somebody is always there to help us. So the challenge this week, and I'm going to start challenging people every single flipping week because I kind of like this.
Yeah.
I like being challenged in life, so let me challenge other people. So the challenge this week is to try to speak out at a meeting. Try to say something, even if you only speak for 30 seconds. And don't be afraid of what other people are going to think when you talk in a meeting. It doesn't matter what they think. If you have something to share in a meeting, that's what you needed to share. It doesn't matter what other people have to say about it.
You share for yourself, not for
You
others.
share for yourself.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. And since we have a few more minutes, I just want to go back to my thing from the beginning of the show, because I want to make sure to remind people.
What up, Joel?
I just want to make sure to remind people that remember that everyone in this world that you come in contact does not mean that they're meant to be in your life. That does not mean that they're meant to be in your life. Some people are meant to make a presence in your life, and that's it.
And you're not saying this towards no one. You're
No,
just saying
I'm
this
saying
in
this towards everyone because
Okay.
I even have people
like no one specifically.
No.
Okay.
So, and I can use, and I'll give an example. I work with a group of 10 women. We're all stuck in this little cubicle, and there's eight of them that I get along with great, and there's 2 where I'm like, why don't these
You
2 women talk
bitches.
to me?
You bitches.
You know what? I don't care. Don't talk to me. That's fine with me. I got other people I talk to, and half the time I'm sitting there blaring music in my ears or listening to a podcast. So, not this one because I'm always here, but but I'm listening to other podcasts.
I'm that egotistical that I do listen to this podcast.
I listened to it the next day just to see how we sounded. So, it's okay with me that there's people that don't want to be part of my life, that don't want to be my friend and stuff like that's okay with me because there's so many more people out there in this world that I can be part of their life or that want to be part of my life. I'm done chasing people. I'm done trying to fit into people's lives that only have time for me when they have time for me.
If people are waterfalls, you don't got to be TLC, okay?
Oh my God.
That is compliments
That was
of
a Tad
Tad. No, that's compliments of Tad before he
That was
left.
a Tad thing right there. So just remember what I said. You literally you thank them and you move on for being part of your life where they were, and then that is it.
Well, then that was a good reminder. Now here, a counter to her challenge is this. If you do reach out during a meeting, if you do finally share and it goes terrible, call me directly.
Yeah.
Call me directly. My number's
us a
going up
text.
on here right now. Check back in next week.
Oh.
And
I'll put
on
mine
that
again.
whole subject is this show is your guys'. Is anyone listening to this? Anyone during the rebroadcast? This is your show. Make it your show. It's no different than a business meeting of any fellowship. Make it yours. If you want us to start changing formats, if you want us to start talking about this or have our guests do that, or you got an idea for a segment, let us know. Let us know if you guys want us to start doing X, Y, or Z. Let us know. Always, always, always know that you're not alone and you are worthy. You're worth it. So if you're struggling, just reach out. No one's going to know you're struggling unless you let someone know. Mm-hmm. Don't wait for someone to come knocking on your door to ask you if you're okay. Just reach out when you're struggling because you're loved and you are worth it. Like, don't let anyone tell you different. Get out to some meetings. Get to some fellowship. Stick around for the meeting after the meeting. If you're not comfortable sitting up front and being outgoing and this and that, so hang out in the back until you're comfortable with it. It's okay as long as you're putting that effort in and being open. You're good. All right. So
Look at that. Wait, look, there's Joel.
Joel
Hey,
B.
Joel.
What's good?
Miss you, buddy.
Yes. So tonight, what I want to ask is Ryan a question. What are you grateful for?
I knew it was coming.
I didn't ask what the answer to brain surgery was. What are you grateful for? There should be a list for my. No, I'm joking.
That's the thing I'm trying to.
Go ahead.
Like, I'm actually, like, really happy. I went and got today, well, I didn't get, I got an email from Bite Squad, and, like, it seems so silly, but they accepted me working there, and I'm trying to go back to college. So it's like, all this
It's not
stuff.
so silly.
Well, it's like
You're
I
good.
look at it as, like, a little crappy job, but, like, to me right now, all I need is a job.
It's something,
I
dude.
don't need the best thing I'm doing because at the same time I'm going to do my college stuff. That's the next big goal. So it's like the having and actually noticing and wanting my real goals, like goals basically. And that's what I'm thankful for.
Hell yeah. Tonight, I want to ask you, Jeff, what are you grateful for?
Grateful for another blessed day, clean and sober. Grateful for the opportunity to be here with you guys. Grateful that I don't live the life that I used to anymore. I'm grateful that, I'm just grateful. Period.
That's
For
awesome.
everything.
That's awesome. So, Elena, what are you grateful for?
Oh, you know.
Wait a second.
What? What?
What are you grateful for, Elena?
You just. Well, it's the weekend.
It's the freaking weekend, Elena. About to have her some fun.
I'm always grateful it's the weekend because I don't have to go to work tomorrow. And I'm grateful that tomorrow. What's tomorrow, Ryan?
It's the 10-10.
Tomorrow
It's the
is
10-10.
the most amazing meet. Don't dog on my
It's the
meeting.
10-10.
The 10-10.
The 10-10.
No.
At Blaine Alleno at 10-10, it's the Blaine Alleno. What else?
I'm so glad that the audience can't see when I throat punch people. So,
What do you think?
so
Side note, Joe's grateful for new beginnings. But go ahead, what else are you grateful for?
tomorrow there is an amazing meeting that I've been going to for the last 3 years of my recovery, and I've missed a few because sometimes I go out of town, but it's an amazing meeting. It's an amazing big book meeting at Blaine Alleno, and it starts at 10:10. And afterwards, there's fellowship. There's a group of people that go out for fellowship. Everyone is welcome. Once a month, we do a potluck. I mean, it's an absolute amazing meeting. There's anywhere from literally 20 to 45 people that go to this meeting. And there's anywhere from 1 day to 27 years of recovery in this room. So if you need a meeting to go to, or if you're looking for a sponsor, there are so many people in this meeting that raise their hand to be a sponsor. There are so many people in this meeting that go to meetings all over the place that you can come and meet. Another thing that I'm grateful for is I get to do SNL tomorrow night again at the Basilica.
What time?
It starts at 7 o'clock.
7:30.
7:30? 7:30. But you can come at 7 o'clock and you can do fellowship and meet
Yes.
people before.
Yes, you
So
definitely
you
can.
might as well just come at 7 o'clock.
Yes, because we need people to. You could be asked to read. You could be asked to share 5 minutes of your story. You could be
Yes.
asked to help
So-
pick up, clean up, or set up.
Yep.
If
so
you
if
want.
I walk around and ask you to do something, don't be running the other way, because I'll follow you.
Okay, let's hear quotes and what you're grateful for, young Matthew.
All right, what I'm grateful for this week was I had the opportunity last weekend to go visit my family 2.5 hours away.
How'd you get there?
Drove my car.
Whoa! Congrats on that again.
I'm also grateful for my job because it helps me keep my insurance up to date. And all that. Yeah, fucking not have insurance. So my quote for today is, I understood myself only after I destroyed myself. Only in the process of fixing myself did I know who I really was.
Say that again. Read that one more time.
I understood myself only after I destroyed myself. Only in the process of fixing myself did I know who I really was.
It's kind of like the journey I'm on right now.
Tim, what are you grateful for?
My guy. Thank you. Did you text him to remind him? All right, so I
trained
am.
well.
Yes. So I'm grateful as always for family, my mother. Life's gonna show up, and I'm grateful that I know how to deal with those situations. And if I personally don't know how to deal with them, I know nowadays that I can reach out to people in my life. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to know I can do those things. Helping others in return helps myself. I'm grateful for that type of shit that I've learned over this past 2 years, because I didn't take it in on those first two. So those type of things I'm just really grateful for nowadays. It would be tragic to write down an inventory, shove it in your drawer, not look at it. These defects grow in the dark and they die in the light of exposure. When you keep them out in the open, you can correct them and fix them and work on them. Don't just write them down and leave them in your rear view. Like, we don't leave them behind. We work on them, pray about them, pray them away. Just work on them. That wasn't a grateful situation. That was me trying to drop knowledge. Okay, boys and girls, it's time for me to explain to you 7 minutes after the hour that next week we have Eric N. is going to be our guest, and we're going to have 2 other surprise visitors throughout the show next week. And then the week after that, I believe, is Jesse and Rick again. It's one of our hit shows when they come on. I believe that's 2 weeks from now.
No, Jesse and Rick are the 18th.
I meant the 18th, you know. So, again, I'm going to tell the audience that if you're struggling, please reach out. If you're hurting, please reach out. I put my number down there. Elena put her number down there. You can put it on here. You can reach out to us directly, privately. You can find me on Facebook at Timothy J. Warren. Just please reach out. Don't wallow in that shit. People are out here to help. You reaching out when you're struggling in return could save my life. I need you. You're worthy. You're loved. If someone hasn't told you you're loved, I'm telling you right now, I love you. Don't know you, but I love you. Just keep trying. Just don't give up. You're worthy. What we're going to do tonight is bring back something that we haven't done in quite a while. Something called the buzzer beater. And Elena gets all excited about these because she doesn't like them. What it is I'm going to shoot out a question and you're going to answer top of your head. Boom. Like we've done, what was the last one we did? If a fictional character, who would you 12-step? What was one of the, like I always say Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. And Jack Sparrow. Yes. But they want to 13-step them, not. Yeah. So what it is just top of your head, boom, boom, boom.
Boom.
And this is
Do
one
not
we're pulling up from the past.
Don't start with me.
If you could come up with a recovery food. Oh, what, you don't like that? Like Serenity shampoo.
Wasn't that
Yes,
mine
that was
I
yours.
remember?
That's why I'm throwing it in your face. So, a recovery food. What would it be, Ryan?
Detox donuts.
Bam! Bam! All right, what you got? Come on, young Matthew.
Sober soda.
Sober soda. Jeff, you getting this? Come on. Come up with one.
I got nothing.
Nothing. You got nothing. Yeah. Well, you know what, guys? That's what you get out of Jeff and Elena. I tell the questions. I don't answer them. I was looking at donuts, too. I was thinking of something like, I don't know, wet and wild wisdom starburst. Yeah, what would, yeah. I got a starburst sitting in front of me. I couldn't think of it. So, all right. You know what, boys and girls? Until next week, we love you from 2218's Attitude for Gratitude weekly podcast. Please,
What is
if
2218?
you have
Did we even talk about that?
the ability to come down here and donate some time, please come down here and donate some time. If you've got some community service hours you need written off, come on down here. We can get that handled for you too. If you are able to financially donate to the club, follow the links that young Matthew has put on here, and please donate. It goes to the cause of the club. It's the world's longest running Alano. It could use the support. Again, you're not alone. You are loved. Thank you all. And until next week, adios, Matthew.